Hello and welcome to today's session. In our previous session, we have learned about Linux. In Linux, we have learned what are the user permission, what are the types of account is available on Linux, and some of its basic command. Today we will introduce Spack and module file. So Spack is a package manager for the Linux system. Spack is a powerful tool for managing software packages on HPC system. It can use to install, build, and manage a wide variety of software packages, including scientific and engineering applications, its libraries, and its team. One of the key features of Spack is its ability to create and manage module files. Module files are used to load and unload software package into the environment. This makes it easy to switch between different versions of software packages without having to rebuild the software from scratch. So, to use Spack, you first need to install it on your system. Once Spack is installed, you can use it all functionality. So, this is the table of content which we are going to today see. The first we are going to see what are the introduction to Spack. Then we see what is module file and its some command. Then we go through the Spack and its command. So module file. Module are the system for managing software environment on Linux system. They are commonly used on high performance computing cluster and system, but they can also be used on desktop system. Module allow user to easily switch between different versions of software packages without having to rebuild the software from scratch. This is useful for a number of reasons, such as to allow user to use the latest version of software packages without having to rebuild all of their software. And it also allows user to use different version of a software package for different project. And it also allows user to share software environment with other user. To use module file, you first need to install a module file system on your system. Once a module system is installed, you can use module to load and unload software packages into the environment. In our Panam system, we already installed module and Spack, so you don't have to install it. You have just use it functionality. Now see some of the module command. So these are the some common module command which you are going to use. First one is the module list. So the module list command lists all of the modules that are currently loaded in the environment. Then second, the module avail command. The module avail command lists all of the module files that are available on your system. Third, the module spider command. The module spider command lists all of the modules that are available on your system in different format. The fourth one is the module help command. The module help command display information about a specific module. Then the module show command. The module show command display more detailed information about a specific module, including environment, dependency, software version, and its path. The module load command. The module load command load a module into the environment. The module unload command. The module unload command unload a module from the environment. The module purge command. The module purge command unload all loaded module from the system. Here are the some example which I'm going to told you. If we want to list all of the currently loaded module, we can use it by module list command. If we want that we want to list all of the modules that are available on the system, we want to use module avail command. If we want to list all of the modules that are available on the system in a different format, we use module spider command. If we want to display information, example, let's say NumPy module, we say module help NumPy. If we want to display the detailed information about the NumPy module, we will write module show NumPy. If we want to load the NumPy module into the environment, we simply write module load NumPy. If we want to unload the NumPy module from the environment, we simply write module unload NumPy. If we want to unload all the module, we simply write module purge. So the module command is a powerful tool for managing software environment on Linux. It is easy to use and is a good option for both beginner and the experienced. Spack. So Spack is a flexible, configurable, Python-based HPC package manager that automates the installation and fine-tuning of simulation and libraries. It is used by researchers and scientists around the world to manage their software environment on HPC systems. Spack has a number of features that make it a powerful tool for managing software on HPC system. The following features of Spack are very useful. It can be used to install, build, and manage a wide variety of software packages, which include scientific and engineering application libraries and tools. It can be used to create and manage module files, which make it easy to switch between different versions of software packages without having to rebuild the software from scratch. It can be used to configure software packages to meet the specific need of a particular HPC system. It can be used to automate the installation and configuration of software packages on a large number of HPC systems. So Spack is a valuable tool for anyone who need to manage software on HPC system. Now we will see some Spack command. So if we want to load Spack in your environment, we can use the following steps. If we want to use it using module file, so what we do? We first load the Spack using module file. This can be done by the following command module load Spack. Then source the Spack environment setup script. This can be done using the following thing, like when you have loaded, simply write source, and the Spack is available on Param Seva system is in this path /home/app/Spack share Spack, then setup env.sh. You have to source this path setup env.sh. Simply copy it and paste it. Then verify that Spack is loaded and working correctly in there and running in your following environment. So write Spack --version. This should output the version of Spack that is installed on your system. If you are using a different module system, you may need to use a different command load to Spack module file. Once Spack is loaded, you can use it to install, build, manage software packages, and load the packages on your HPC system. Now we see some command. So Spack list command. The Spack list command lists all of the software packages that are available in the Spack. This is a useful command for discovering new software packages or for finding specific software packages that is our need. To use the Spack list command, simply type Spack list at the command line. This will output a list of all the software packages that are available in Spack. You can also use a Spack list command to filter the list of software packages. For example, to list all the software packages that contain a string GCC, we can do it by simply using grep command. So we write a Spack list, then we write pipe, then grep, and then the package name. Here, if we want to GCC, so simply we write a Spack list grep GCC. So with the string GCC, whatever the packages are available, it will show to us. So these are the packages are available. That is armpl-gcc, GCC, GCC makedep, and GCC XML. Currently, Spack has more than 7,000 software packages available. This include a wide variety of scientific and engineering application libraries and tools. Here are some of the examples how to use a Spack list command. So if we want to list all the software packages that are available in the Spack, we can simply write a Spack list command. If we want to list all the software packages that contain the string Python, so what we do? we write a spec list, pipe, then we grep, then Python. If we want to list all of the software packages that are available in the science category, we can write it using spec list hyphen category is equal at category. Then after that we write simply science. If we want to list all the software packages that has been installed, we can do it by spec list hyphen install. The spec list command is a powerful tool for discovering and managing software packages. Now, we simply another command is spec compilers. The spec compiler or spec compiler list command lists all of the compilers that are available on spec. This is useful command for finding out which compiler are installed on your system or for choosing a compiler to use for a particular build. To use the spec compiler or spec compiler list command, simply type spec compiler or spec compiler list at the command line. This will output a list of all the compilers that are available to spec. Now we will see spec find command. So the spec find command find the software packages that match a specific criteria. This is a useful command for finding specific software packages or for discovering new software packages that you may not be aware of. To use the spec find command, simply type spec find followed by the criteria that you want to match. For example, to find all the software packages that contain the word GCC in their name, we write spec find GCC. So whatever the GCC which is installed on our system is listed out. So in the above diagram, you can see there are 8 installed GCC packages are there. So it all listed out. And by seeing this, we can simply load any one of it using load command. Now we will see the spec load command. The spec load command tool load the environment for a specific packages, which make its binaries and libraries available, and it set the libraries and binary on our environment. This is a useful command for preparing your environment to run software that depend on the packages. To use the spec load command, simply type spec load followed by the package name of the packages that you want to load. For example, to load the GCC compiler, you would use the command spec load GCC. However, if there are multiple packages that match the name that you have specified, Spack will display an error message and list all of the matching packages. To load one of the matching packages, you need to specify a more specific spec. For example, you could specify the full package name, including the hash key, or you could specify the package, its version, and with its compiler. So here are the some examples on which how you load packages when they have multiple matches. If we have to load the GCC compiler with the hash key, we write simply spec load GCC slash with its hash key. When you have initially loaded spec load GCC, spec have given error message. With the error messages, it listed all the GCC compilers with their hash key. Simply whatever the GCC you want to use, simply copy the hash key and paste it on there. If we want to load the GCC compiler with version 13.1.0, we can simply write spec load GCC at the rate 13.1.0. If you want to load the GCC compiler with version 12.1.0, which is compiled with GCC compiler version 11.2.0, you can write spec load GCC at the rate 12.1.0 percent GCC at the rate 11.2.0. Here one thing to note down that at the rate is always come with the version, that which version with that particular application you want to load, and percent is come when with which GCC or with which compiler this particular application is being builded. Then load the GCC compiler version. If you want to load the GCC compiler version with 10.3.0, you can simply write with spec load GCC at the rate 10.3.0 and with hash there with slash with their hash key. Once a package is loaded, it will be available in your environment until you unload it. Using the Spack unload command. Let's see. Now let's see the Spack info command. So Spack is info command provide the detailed information about a package, including the version, dependencies, and its build option. This is useful command for learning more about a particular package or for troubleshooting problems within a package. To use the Spack info command, simply type Spack info followed by the name of the package that you want to get information about. For example, to get information about the GCC compiler, you would use the following command Spack info GCC. This would output is detailed list of information about the GCC compiler, including its version, dependencies, build option, and description of the available space. Like here, I have done Spack info GCC. Here you can see there are multiple build dependencies are there are link dependencies, there are run dependency are there, and there are multiple variants are there in which we can there is some packages are off, some packages are on. On means they are by default when we install the packages, it automatically dependent on that package. Some packages off, so we can on that. That is, we can build via that packages. Like here you can see the bin utils is off. It means if we can on that, then we can build our GCC with the bin utils package also. And bootstrap is it is already on, so it is automatically on with the package. Now see the Spack find command. So Spack find command help us to find any packages. But with the Spack find command, there are multiple commands. Here we see Spack find -d command. With the Spack find -d command, it is used to display the detailed information about the available packages that is installed on a system. Like here in the image, if you can see the Spack find, we have done -d. Then we have one package name we have selected, that is GCC at the rate 13.1.0 slash its hash number. So here we can see that this GCC 13.1.0 is built with which of the dependencies and how the dependencies are attached to the particular GCC. So it gives the list, and it also tells this package installed with all this dependency and the dependency, and we can see this dependency is of its own version, that is all the dependency and its version also. So here we have can do Spack find -d then package name. So we have done for GCC at the rate, and similarly we can do it for others. Then Spack find -hyphen loaded command. The Spack find -hyphen loaded command is used to display a list of packages that are currently loaded in the environment. This is a useful command for checking which packages you have loaded in your environment. So this is a useful command and which makes sure whatever the packages are you loaded is correctly loaded in your environment or not. To use the Spack find -hyphen loaded command, simply type Spack find -hyphen loaded at the command line. This will output a list of all the packages that are currently loaded in your environment. So we write Spack find -hyphen loaded command. After that, whatever the packages which are loaded in our environment, it lists out it, and it also total how many packages are loaded. That in the given diagram, you can see there are 30 packages. Now we see Spack find -p command. So the Spack find -p command is used to display the path where packages are installed on the system. This is a useful command for finding the location of a specific package or for troubleshooting problem within the package. To use the Spack find -p command, simply type Spack find -p and your package name. Then, like here, if we want to see the path of the GCC file, then we write Spack find -p, then the GCC with the we want 13.1.0, so we loaded that. And with the hash key we have done, we have given the path. So Spack find -p GCC at the rate 13.1.0 slash its hash name. Then it show the where all the bin file, its include file, its lib file, where are there. So it gives the path. This is the path where you can, if we can list out the path using ls command, we can see all these packages are available here. So if it is not loaded correctly in your environment, if sometimes what happens that if we load using Spack also, some packages are not set into the environment. So what we can do with the Spack find -p command, what we will do, we can find out the path, and we whatever we have seen earlier, we can in the previous class, what we have done, we have put the bin file, lib file into export path or export LD library path. So all these things we can indirectly put also, so that it can be loaded in the environment if it is not loaded by default. Then Spack unload. The Spack unload command, uh, it unload the environment of a specific package. Basically, it used for to unload the environment. So this is useful command for cleaning up your environment after you finish using a particular package. To use the Spack unload command, simply type Spack unload followed by the name of the packages you want to unload. So initially I have loaded GCC package, and you have seen in the previous slide that when I have done Spack find hyphen loaded, so with GCC all the packages are listed out. Now if I do Spack unload GCC, so only the particular GCC is unloaded, but all the packages will not be unloaded. When you have to unload each and every packages, you have to write only Spack unload without mentioning any package name. So here, to unload each and every loaded package, you have to simply write Spack unload command. So now whatever we have done, so we do one demo of module file and try to execute the Spack basic command what we have learned. So in this demo, you will. Thank you.